Hi everybody. Today's lesson is going to be about Chargraph's rule, which is an explanation of how DNA bases combine. Now, we've already talked about the DNA bases before. You know that the four bases that exist are adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. Um, what I usually tell people to do is write them in that order, write them in alphabetical order. And the outer two want to bind together and the inner two want to bind together when you do alphabetical order. So the adenine wants to bind with the thymine, the cytosine wants to bind with the guanine. But what we're going to do today is a simulation that will make it easier to remember that. So if you follow the link to the University of Utah website, they have a building a DNA molecule simulation. Go ahead and open that. And you'll see that they start by saying there's a thymine on the first strand. So we have to pick what goes on the second strand. And obviously, the two outer ones from alphabetizing. So if we have a thymine, we're going to go with an adenine. And if we have a guanine, we're going to go with a cytosine. Now you're going to do this yourself, but you can see it's very straightforward. You just click on the thing. It's another modality that might make it easier to learn. The alphabetical works good for me. I've also heard people say that they use acronyms for this. If you want to logic your way through, you could go with the fact that you always have 3 carbon rings on a rung on the ladder. If you think of DNA as a twisty ladder, it has 3 carbon rings in width, always, doesn't vary. So that means that you need one of the bases that are A's and G's, one of the things that has 2 carbon rings. Here, let me go back and make that more clear. If we go back here, you can see that adenine and guanine, they have 2 carbon rings. I always use the joke that the reason we call those purines is because it's like purine a puppy chow. We feed it to, purine a puppy chow, you feed it to your dog to make him grow big and strong. Well, these grew an extra ring. But the point is, every rung on the ladder must have a 2 carbon base, nitrogenous base, and a 1 carbon nitrogenous base because you have to add up to 3 rings in width. So adenine always goes with thymine, and cytosine always goes with guanine. All right, so now that you know that, we'll go back here and we'll continue. If there's a thymine, we're going to pick an adenine. If there's a thymine, we pick an adenine. If there's a guanine, we pick a cytosine. It would help if I clicked on cytosine instead of guanine. If there's a guanine, we pick a cytosine. If there's an adenine, we pick a thymine. Anyway, you can see how it works. It's something that you can get some practice with. It might be another way to have those things stick in your head and have you ready for the test where I'll be asking you questions like, what would go with an adenine? Anyway, try out the simulation and email me. Let me know if you have any questions.